What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to DSM pregame live streaming to you here exclusively on the DSM Media YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you check us out on Twitter first at DSM_media. Hit that follow button. We greatly appreciate it. And then while you're over on the page, check out the link tree. It is in our bio. It will take you to every social media platform we have available. If you guys want to be interactive throughout tonight's show, it is the best place to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up on the YouTube channel specifically. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications for every single time we go live here. I am one half of your host, Dylan Davis. You can find me on Twitter at DylanJD98. To my right, my co-host Scotty. You can find him on Twitter as well at Scotty Drown. Sixers, Nuggets preview. Sixers in the middle of a 2-game skid to start their West Coast trip as they head to the Mile High City tonight. No Joel Embiid. He is officially out tonight versus the Denver Nuggets in the MVP matchup we were looking forward to tonight between him and Nikola Jokic. Scotty, my man, I know you're feeling down a little bit. I know you're feeling a little less energized for this matchup tonight, but how are you doing on this Monday?
I'm doing good, man. It got rainy out, about midday today, so that brought the energy down. And then, of course, they announced the Embiid being out awfully early, so that kind of rained down on the day today as well. But nonetheless, I'm always happy to be here, talk some Sixers, and get into tonight's matchup. It still should be slightly entertaining, right? Harden's supposed to play. Maxi's going to be there, of course. He balled out last game, but just a level of disappointment that always seems to come with this Sixers team, whether it's Joel, whether it's, Doc Rivers, whatever the case may be, just a level of disappointment that comes with being a Sixers fan. Yeah, it's deflating, right? You just get yourself hyped up. You got through the weekend, and I think we all got through like the back-to-back, and that's the confusing part. We got through that. And now today's the day where, we got to give a break. It is what it is. I know we'll get further into it, but that's where I'm at right now.
Let's start the show here with it. Obviously, the Sixers lose back-to-back games in Golden State versus the Warriors. Tough home team there. Obviously, Steph, Clay, Draymond, all them. Yeah. Then they lose last night, or 2 nights ago, to the Phoenix Suns. No DeAndre Ayton, no Kevin Durant, but we were also without Jaden McDaniels and James Harden. Harden expected to be back in the lineup tonight. No Embiid. Let's start there, man. Listen, let's preface it by saying this. You and I are on the same page, as should 100% of the fan base. There should not be a single minute percentage of this fan base that prioritizes tonight's head-to-head matchup between these two MVP candidates over getting Joel Embiid and this team fully healthy and having their eyes on a championship run. We understand that, but the optics of it, the PR of it looks really bad and really dumb. To your initial point, I think everybody's mind went to the same place, right? The calf tightness pops back up. He's listed out already today against Jokic. Why play him in the back-to-back then?
Yeah.
3 games in 4 nights. He needs some rest. I understand he needs some rest. You're right. Focus on the playoffs. But why wasn't it one of the other 2 games?
Exactly.
Why do it today? You brought up a very key point to me earlier before we went live here. Joel Embiid, throughout all the games he has missed this year, probably last year, before that, outside of long sustained injuries when we know he's out for such a time, he is constantly a game time decision. He is constantly right up until tip. You do not know if he's going to be in the starting 5 or not. He's listed as out at 10:30, 11 o'clock this morning. Something wasn't off about that. You have the Shams interview come out. He's the odds-on favorite to win MVP. That's probably going to flip back or at least tighten that race, whether it should or should not.
Yeah.
It looks really bad, and I'm 110% with you, man. Why didn't he sit out and rest against one of those 2 teams over the weekend in a back-to-back, which he has struggled to play with his entire career? But you rest him tonight to get him ready for the playoffs and get that calf 100%. It makes no sense. I mentioned to you earlier, James Harden is back tonight. If you were eyeing this as a return, because you can't just tell me he woke up and figured he was fine to go.
He's good to go, right?
You're eyeing this as a return. Why would you not rest both of them Saturday against Phoenix? Take your loss. They're without Ayton. They're without Durant. See what the other guys can do. Rest them both and have them both tonight against the 1 seed in the West, which is the tougher competition. Then divide them up 1-1 and go, Joel, you're playing the Suns. James, you're on your own versus the Nuggets. None of it makes any sense to me. The way they have handled this or mishandled this looks really bad.
Yeah. You said it best there. It's complete mismanagement by the Sixers, and I think that's something that we have seen way too often with this organization, right? And even during this time with Embiid that we've had him in this city, it's just constant mismanagement. Even with Ben Simmons, is mismanagement, right? You look back to last Wednesday when Embiid sits out that second half against Chicago and Kate Scott. Mind you, they're blind. They're all speculating during the broadcast, but you tell them to tell us that everything's good.
Right.
He's just out because of a big lead. If it was a playoff game, he would be in, he would be playing, and blah, 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 blah. Then we get the designation, right? And it's like, where'd this calf strain come from? That's like the next day or the next game, right? That's when they bring out the injury report.
Then that was erased.
Then that was erased. Then we play a back-to-back on a West Coast road trip, which, mind you, there's just no – you look back at the Phoenix game, there's just no way to make sense of this now that we're here and at this day because – Phoenix, if you pick one out of the 3 teams of this weekend and today, you would pick Phoenix as that team that is the team you can win without Embiid and Harden, right? They didn't have DeAndre Ayton, they didn't have KD, and mind you, they didn't beat them with Embiid in the lineup, right?
Right.
But that is the game that makes sense. It's the tail end of a back-to-back. It's a game against a depleted Phoenix team that doesn't have 2 of their stars. It's a game where Embiid, right, there is no other center matchup. It's a game that you could potentially win without it.
Bismack
right?
Biyombo.
Exactly. And then you get to Monday and it's we're dealing with this. The point is and I want to put this at the forefront because Embiid might have lost the MVP award regardless because he misses a game the rest of the season,
Any
right?
game, sure.
He might lose it regardless. But one thing that you're guaranteeing tonight by doing this is that it will flip because if he misses the Phoenix game, that can get swept under the rug and not everybody notice, right? That's a game at 10:30 on a Saturday night on NBA
already
TV.
had the calf tightness excuse laid out there to the
Already
public.
Already have it. But you get to this game, it's on national television, it's in the spotlight, it's MVP candidate versus MVP candidate, and now this is going to get blown up. And don't let Jokic get a 30-point triple-double tonight because it's going to get blown up. And it's just not fair, man. I feel so bad for Embiid. I don't know if it's Embiid's fault. I don't know if it's, truly management's fault. But, like, I just feel I'm so, like, tired of this, man. And once again, I think it was Michael Levin that said it on Twitter best. It's like this Sixers organization was, like, constructed by the government to just disappoint Sixers fans, Philly fans overall, man, because it's just constant, man. We get to these big nights, these big moments, and whether it's the Sixers, coming out, they have their team and they lose the game. It's the same
story every year.
It's the same thing every year. It's not even that they're going to come out and lose the game tonight. Shit, they might even win, Dylan. I don't know. They might win because Embiid's not.
They did it versus Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD.
I have no idea. But like you're disappointing us before the big moment even gets here, and it just seems like it's always that we can't even get to the end of the game against the Bucks in this like landscape moment and win that game. And mind you, we have beat the Bucks in a clutch moment this year. I'm just using an example, but it just always feels like this happens, man.
All in all, this news, if they lose tonight, it has nothing to do. It changes. It does not change my mind, and I'm sure it doesn't change your mind about big picture and how optimistic you are about how good this team can be and will be in the playoffs. The point is, there's 2 things. It's bad PR. And it's illogical. It does not make sense for all the reasons we've laid out. So the people that come to defense of this move, which it's the big thing, right? He needs rest. You want him 100% healthy. I'm with you. I understand. Why this one? Why this game? That's the part that doesn't make sense. The back-to-back, the 2 rough games, no Harden, the calf tightness. It was all laid out for him to miss Saturday night against
Why
Phoenix.
do you finish Saturday night's game but didn't finish Wednesday nights, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he came back in when we were down 15 in that game in the 4th quarter. Yeah, so it's like, why? Why did you do it then?
And in terms of the MVP thing, No, I don't care if Joel Embiid
It's
wins
not all
MVP.
about
We
that.
care
It
about a
isn't.
championship. The point is, you and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago. You, as a fan for him, you want it for him
Yeah.
because he's probably never going to be in this. Had this opportunity, be in this position again.
Yeah.
And whether it's fair or foul, I'm not saying him missing tonight should sway the odds, should sway everything. I'm not saying you should forget about what he did to Jokic in Philly in January. The last 2 times he's played Jokic, I understand. I think he's the MVP.
Yeah.
It's the PR point of it.
It's inevitable.
And the Sixers know that.
Yeah.
They can't act like they're blind to the situation.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand why that matters. You know damn well why it matters, and you still chose to announce him as out at 10:30 this morning.
Yeah.
It's illogical. It's idiotic. It's deflating. It's annoying. It's everything.
Yeah.
And you, again, I guess, knock on wood, you just have to hope that he does become 100% come playoff time.
Yeah, because and mind you, if he misses the next game, maybe it can cool off a bit, right? If he's sat out the next game, right?
Right. Well, now his MVP case won't cool off.
He better. I mean, like, the way I look at it, it's like, is he injured or not? Is he injured or not? Are we giving him a rest day, or is it the calf tightness?
Yeah, again, I have no idea,
good question,
man, because to Scotty's, you would think it's management, right?
It has to be, right? Like, it better be.
Dude, it's Joel, and stars control what they do in this league. So you can't tell me whether maybe not that it's his decision or his initial thought process. Joel has a say in whether he plays tonight.
Has to.
Guarantee you.
Everything that Embiid, though, said throughout even this weekend, right?
Right. That he wanted this matchup.
He wanted this matchup, right? He says that to Draymond in the game where he drops 46 against Golden State.
That's why the PR looks so bad.
It looks so bad. And then, like you said, the Shams interview. I mean, just all the talk surrounding this, and it's just like, are the Sixers this foolish? Are they this blind that they think this won't totally lose? Like,
they want to come off as this blind. Dude, it's the same thing. Go back a week's time to the conversation you and I had about Doc's comments about James Harden's injury after that game. But in the same night, he played him 47 minutes in a double overtime game, but then came out and said he's been dealing with this. So they've known about it. They have no idea. Like, their PR is a mess. They have no idea what to say, when to say it, what's the right decision. They have none. So again, knock on wood, before we get into this matchup tonight, you just have to hope that, hey, he sits out tonight, throw the MVP thing aside. Maybe he still wins it. Maybe he doesn't. Get them both 100% healthy and let's move and let's continue this journey. But
I think it's a great point. Just to like clarify where we're coming from. It's not about the MVP. It's about basically, if Embiid's injured, you don't play him in a back-to-back. It's like that simple.
Fine.
Like, it's that simple. And I can't wrap my head around it. It's regardless of this Denver Nuggets game tonight. Obviously, that's where we built our hype from for this game, is the Denver Nuggets MVP race. But it's not just that. It's from a basic understanding of how you treat your stars when they're injured, right? And we dealt with injuries in every single playoffs.
His calf wasn't tight the day after he dropped 46 in Golden State.
Right. But he did look bothered on Saturday. Like, don't get me wrong.
I am with you.
Bothered on Saturday.
I am with this, but like Scotty said, if he is 1%, 2% injured or sore or tight or anything, he should be sitting out.
Would have been Saturday.
My point, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just illogical too.
I don't know. The rest of the
I just am confused at the fact that how it wasn't a problem in the back-to-back.
Yeah.
But it's a problem today.
I'll never understand that. I really won't. It doesn't make sense.
Maybe he tweaked it walking off the plane to get to Denver. I don't know, dude. But that's the part that doesn't make sense to me. So, all right, let's move on to the actual matchup. Like I said, James Harden returns. They are only missing Joel Embiid, hopefully, tonight in Denver, my man. Let's get to keys to victory, everything like that. I know it's tough because, like you said, it's deflating, right? It's disappointing. So now your energy for this matchup, your attention to this matchup is brought down a couple notches. But what are you looking at tonight in tonight's matchup for the Sixers to be successful? Because let's be honest, they have a chance to still win this ball game.
Yeah, they've done things like this before, right? They've shown us that they can do it. First key to victory for me, man. Find a way to stay competitive in the rebounding, because I think that's the biggest thing. You're looking at the 19th ranked rebounding team, so not that much better than the Sixers. But the reason I bring up the rebound, and obviously no Embiid tonight, that's your big man that grabs up all the boards. You're going against Jokic, a guy that can eat on the boards. But not only that, they've lost the last 2 matchups significantly on the rebounding battle. Against Golden State, they lost it 49-38, so they were out rebounded by 11. And then against Phoenix, they were out rebounded 45-36, so they were out rebounded by 9. What does that mean? That means more opportunities, right? And that means more scoring opportunities for the other team. Denver, another prolific scoring team you're going to play tonight. It's not like it's going to get any easier than, say, Phoenix or, say, Golden State, for instance. This is a top 10 offensive team in the NBA, maybe even top 5 in most metrics. But you gotta stay competitive on the basics is where I'm coming from here. You got to stay competitive on the boards. I know we hammer the rebounding every single game, but I wanted to bring it back up today because they've fallen back into that hole and it's costing them games. You're on the road tonight. The second thing that I'll give to you here, Dylan, pace, man. You got to play with pace. I told you before the game I would come out with a small ball lineup. I would start PJ Tucker at the center, let him guard Jokic. Jokic likes to operate in that elbow. Make him go down to the post and drop 30 on you tonight. Make him beat you, right? So I'm going out there. I'm deploying a small ball lineup, and I'm going to speed up the pace. I'm going to let James Harden run this unit. Now, obviously, we don't know where James Harden's health is. He's probable for tonight. But if he's playing, I would imagine he's healthy. That's what I'm going with here. So I would let Harden get these guys sped up tonight. There's no big guy that you have to get situated in the post, and play with some pace tonight, man. What do you think about those?
I have 3 for you, and the first 2 go line in line with yours. A, controlling the glass, or at least being competitive on the glass, not allowing second chance opportunities for this high octane offense. Obviously, I'll get into those numbers in a second. But again, when you're undermanned, when you're missing your MVP, you don't want to be down multiple possessions. You don't want to have 8 to 10 less shots than the Denver Nuggets, if not more. Right? Turnovers kind of go into that as well. Protect the basketball tonight. So that's key number 1. Key number 2, I agree with you. I'm going small, bro. We already know that Jokic, how do I say this nicely, doesn't play defense. So obviously we were looking forward to what Joel could do tonight. But without Joel, what is your option to exploit Jokic's defense? Paul Reed on the offensive side? Dwayne Dedmon on the offensive side, right? So those really aren't logical answers. Now, again, PJ Tucker isn't going to do anything explosive offensively either. But if you go smaller and you can get into the paint by pulling PJ, your center, out to the corner, right, where he can not only make shots but just draw, Jokic out a little bit. You can kind of put them in positions to make him guards one-on-one and get switches, right? So a lot of off-ball movement, go small, a lot of things like that. My last thing is making life tough for them, man. You mentioned the shooting numbers. They average 117 points per game. They are first in field goal percentage, first in 3-point field goal percentage, second in true shooting percentage, first in effective field goal percentage, second in offensive rating. They're a good offense, and it starts with him, right? As much like you talk about this MVP race a lot in terms of you don't want to knock the other one down to build the one up. That's not what I like. I'm not trying to discredit Nikola Jokic. He's a back-to-back MVP for a reason, right? He is very, very dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. Make life difficult for them, whether that's with PJ Tucker, DeAnthony Melton. Tobias Harris has to step up tonight. What do you think about that? I know we mentioned PJ at the 5.
Try
Do you
it.
throw Tobias at the 5 at all?
Try it. Yeah, I would try it, man. Like I said, force Jokic to get his ass in the post and try to beat us by scoring, right? Don't let him just stand at the top of the key.
I think
and just get everybody
that's it by going
right?
small. I think that's my point about going small. Make them adjust to your rotation and lineup changes and adjustments. Don't let them dictate, right? But if they have Jokic out there, Aaron Gordon, 6'10", 6'11", power forward, Michael Porter Jr., a long, big, small forward. I get that. So if you go undersized, you're vulnerable to getting crushed on the glass, as we said, is important. But you can't just let them dictate that. You cannot have Paul Reed out there or Dwayne Dedmon out there just for the size aspect and then still get killed on the glass.
Yeah, I mean, if Doc throws Dedmon out there tonight, I mean, we're gonna throw up. Like that's what's gonna happen. Like we're gonna throw up because Jokic is gonna murder him on the court.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? How is he any better than Montrezl Harrell?
There,
I know we're done the Montrezl
no,
Harrell
he's
experiment.
not.
I get it, and rightfully so. In what effing world does Dwayne Dedmon get second half and fourth quarter minutes in Phoenix over? I forget just Paul Reed, just going small. How is he better than that option?
There's no explanation. I wonder if Doc is just playing him to see if he has anything.
I guess.
But no, I would have took him off after the first time I saw him on the court. Like, if I'm being honest, man, if they throw Dedmon out there tonight, he will get murdered. If they throw Paul Reed out there, which you have to do at some point in the game, he's going to get in foul trouble. I can see it already.
100%.
Yeah, I can see that coming a mile away. And I think, to your point, just getting back to like keys to victory, making them adjust. I think the one thing that you can do along with pace tonight, along with the small ball lineup, you have to let it fly from the 3-point line. Like, you have to make an assertive effort to like get 43 pointers up tonight. Give yourself a chance. Like, you're going against the 1 seed in the Western Conference, best team in the West, in their altitude, mind you. It's not easy to play in Denver, right? And then on top of it, you're going against a back-to-back MVP candidate tonight. You have to give yourself a chance. Against Golden State. Now, mind you, Golden State shoots a ton of threes. We know that. They went 18 for 50 from the field. The Sixers went 8 for 29 from the 3-point line in that game. So the Golden State Warriors shot 50 3-pointers. They shot 21 more 3-pointers than us, and they made 10 more. That was honestly the difference in the game, right? So I'm looking for them to just let it fly tonight. None of that hesitating. You can take the 3-pointer tonight. There is no Embiid that we're looking for in the post. There is no Embiid that's going to get a double team and bail you out to get you a better shot. You have to go out there and let it fly tonight. And I think we just need to get up a lot of shots tonight. I think that's how they got to play.
That's where I was about to take that conversation. It's a good point because you mentioned pace earlier, letting it fly, letting the 3-ball loose tonight. Again, maybe you're not going to shoot 38% as a team or 40+% as a team from 3. But get up a lot of shots. Run, and get up a lot of shots because you're going to need as many attempts and as many looks tonight to stay up with this offense. That is the bottom line. When you're missing the league leading scorer, you're missing 33, 34 points per game. That's the bottom line. So where are those points coming from? I hope James Harden's 100% healthy. I hope it was more precautionary to get him that rest for his Achilles soreness or tightness. But I don't know what his health looks like tonight. I don't know what his jump looks like tonight. Yeah. So am I getting assertive, aggressive 25 points, James Harden tonight? Or am I getting, not that the assists are bad, but am I getting 16 points, 12 assists, James Harden tonight? Because while the assists are great, there's a difference between those two numbers I just laid out to you. And in terms of the way this game gets played tonight.
I don't know. That's probably one of the biggest question marks tonight is what does Harden look like? And like to what I said earlier in the show, if he's not healthy, he doesn't need to play. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't look like himself, I'm going to be really blown that he's out on the court.
I agree. So, that's a great point. Like, if he doesn't look like himself, I'm going to be screaming at the TV, like, why? Why is he playing that?
They would be going like back and forth with mistakes. They made the mistake against Chicago on that Monday night to keep him in for 47 minutes. Then you sit him. Well,
not to mention, you're just contradicting your move with Joel tonight at that point.
Exactly. You're contradicting it. And once again, it's like, like you said earlier.
110% agree with this. I brought this up earlier. It makes no sense to divide them. It makes zero sense. Take your loss in Phoenix with both of them out. Have a better shot with both of them tonight. It makes no effing sense to switch them up.
It's so dumb. I can't wrap my head around it. It's the most bothersome part of it. And I think the other bothersome part of it is that Embiid's going to take all the heat here. And maybe he deserves it. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. We might not.
Like to Get's point earlier, if he said one word about his calf,
then
he is right and they are right to sit. Yeah. I'm just having trouble believing and understanding how it could be today, but not during the back-to-back.
Yeah, like did the calf flare up again? Like, is it swollen? Like, what is the issue? Like, did you wake up this morning and couldn't walk? Like, what really is it? And I think that's maybe the way the Sixers have always been, right? Not disclosing what is actually going on to us. And maybe they just don't really give a F to what we think or what we're worrying about. But to your point, the PR team,
Right,
it's not
and
great from a social and a
it's
PR
funny that you say
perspective,
that
man.
because I'm one of the fans that think they shouldn't really care what we think. Their best interest
They
should be in
shouldn't.
the playoffs.
That's fair.
I'm with that 100%. Again, it just if they never had it back to back, Scotty, I
We
wouldn't
wouldn't be
I
talking
wouldn't have
about
this
this.
mindset.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on this side of the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, give them the rest. I don't care about the MVP matchup, whatever.
Yeah.
You just played them in a back-to-back this weekend. That's the part, man. But whatever. I don't want to
100%.
backtrack and get all the way into that conversation again. It drives me nuts. But
Yeah.
any other keys, matchups that you're looking at tonight for the Sixers to have a chance at a W?
Yeah, I'm honestly looking. So another thing about the last two games, you've only had Embiid, Maxey, and Tobias. They're the only three that have gotten into double figures in back-to-back games. Have had zero help from anybody else.
Yeah.
So anybody
the
out
bench,
there,
that is a good point. The bench has struggled mightily.
yeah, on the road, and that's something that is worrisome, right? Like we've had a nice bench. It's felt like for most of the season, and now as we get closer to the playoffs, we get tougher competition. Guys are disappearing, right? D'Anthony Melton, man, I gave him a lot of hype for what I believe was 25 points against Chicago last Wednesday. We haven't seen him since, other than just breaking shots and missing layups. So I need to see something from D-Melt, something from George Niang, right? Jalen McDaniels, he's looked out of sorts since returning from injury. If he's not healthy, don't play him. If he's healthy, I want to see something from tonight. Tyrese Maxey, he's been a guy that has balled out. Can he keep that up consistently, or was that just a flash of lightning in a bottle? I doubt it. I think Maxey is a guy that can put up 20, 25 a night. He had 37 last game. Can he put up another one of those magnificent Denver performances that we saw in his rookie year, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things I'm looking at tonight. I mean, Maxey, he has a chance of game breaking, and Harden also carries that ability. It's worrisome, right? It's worrisome when this is all swirling around. But to be fair to them, I think they step up in these moments all the time and throughout this season as well.
I think to your point, it's way more of a key. It's way more of a factor tonight, important tonight, for everybody to be involved.
Yeah.
Because as you just laid out, Maxey did score 37 the other night. You had Joel Embiid.
You lost about 20.
Because no one else stepped up, because no one else could hit an open three, because no one else could do this, you got your asses handed to you in the second half. Because Phoenix's bench was scoring over 40, 50 points. Golden State's bench, Jordan Poole, they were scoring, right? While you weren't. So to me, instead of having a 37 and a 28, so let's say Maxey went off for 32 and Harden had 30 tonight. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What everybody else do?
Not enough to win.
If PJ has 3 points and Tobias has 9 and Niang has 4, what the hell? The 32 and 30 don't matter. You know what I mean? So.
And I think you just said Tobias's name. I don't know if we've really touched on him. He has to play not up to his contract. We know that he can't really do that, but play up tonight, right? 15 plus points at least, right? He needs to be up at 20 points tonight, man.
That's why I mentioned potentially putting him at the 5, at least for parts of this game, because you put Denver in that you make them dictate to you, right?
Him a mismatch on offense. He can go at Jokic, right?
That's my point, right? Because then he either gets the matchup with Jokic, which he can try to exploit, or if they still stand pat and go, nah, we're going to put Aaron Gordon on him. Yeah. Who's Jokic guarding?
Right. Exactly.
One of the guards. So you can look to create mismatches with that small ball lineup. Again, even if Tobias was his primary defender, look to get a switch. Look to put Jokic in bad opportunities, right? So yeah, man, that's it for me. I'm targeting the MVP on defense. That's what I'm doing.
You have to.
That's the bottom line.
You have to. And I think to that point, I think there is a little bit of motivation here tonight for this Sixers team. You have all this swirling around. The MVP candidates out, right? And Joel's going to deal with his own heat. But this team can kind of have his back a little bit tonight by giving out a good performance, going at Jokic, not letting him completely dominate this game with like a 30-point triple-double. They can do Embiid a favor tonight. They can do him a solid, especially guys like James Harden, Tyrese Maxey that should have his back. Go out here and get a victory, then that will kind of eliminate this noise, in my opinion. But I'm not expecting a victory. I'll go ahead and put that at the forefront tonight.
Yeah.
you're talking about the number 1 seed in the West. You're talking about one of the best teams in the NBA. You're
Who
talking
we've
about
already
a
beaten.
back-to-back MVP, right? And I know as much as we talk about putting the small ball lineup out there tonight, have him, lure him in to scoring the basketball tonight. Don't lure him out of making his other teammates better, because once that ball starts getting moved around in Denver and they start working at a fast pace, getting us up and down the court, getting up a lot of threes, kind of what we want the Sixers to do, right? Once Denver starts doing that, this game is going to be over. Jokic, and mind you, we've talked about the stat padding for the last couple weeks. If Denver's up 15, Jokic ain't coming out, dog. Like, he's gonna stay in and keep eating. So they're gonna run it up for Jokic as much as they can tonight, I imagine.
I am glad you brought up that phrase, stat padding, because you asked me what exactly was in the Shams interview. Those are 2 words that Joel brought up. That's what I forgot to tell you about, how he could stat pad if he wanted to, but he doesn't. And he could have come back out in the second half in that Chicago game and score 30 and whatever, but he didn't. So again, adding fuel to the fire, bad PR. Yeah, it all comes back around, man. But staying away from it, let's move on to our next and probably most favorite segment of the show, our best bets for tonight's matchup. Let's start at the top here with our man Tyrese Maxey. He has been firing off from 3-point range. What do you have in Phoenix? 7, 8 threes the other night?
3-pointers. So even if he cools off a bit, you got 4 3-pointers to spare compared to last.
The thing I like with Maxey's attempts tonight, or with his threes tonight, is the attempts are going to be there, specifically without Joel Embiid. Like we said earlier in the show, the points, the shot attempts, they have to come from somewhere. Tyrese Maxey's a perfect candidate for that. Over 2.5 threes at -130 there.
And he's got Harden back, the guy that gets him the ball.
Exactly. Yeah, and Harden, again, we don't know what that Achilles looks like, how spry he's going to be. Does he look to be more passive than a scorer tonight? So Maxey 3 threes I really like tonight. At number 2 on our list, we have Tobias Harris over 23.5 points, rebounds, assist combo at -140. We were initially leaning over 15.5 points. We figured he's going to have to help on the glass. We figured without Joel, he's going to account for probably 2 or 3, maybe a little bit more in the assist category. Yeah. I don't know with Harden being back, but he should get 2 or 3. And with the points and rebounds, I think he'll be able to come up with the rest. Hell, you could have a 20-point Tobias Harris night. We don't know. Yeah. That's what we're hoping for with the combination there. This bottom one, I am struggling between Maxey and this bottom one being my favorite. PJ Tucker, this man's name does not get put on this sheet often.
Ever.
PJ Tucker over 3.5 rebounds at -130 on DraftKings tonight for the 76ers. Again, who are you missing? Joel, Hans, and Embiid. PJ, he's going to start the 4. PJ might start the 5. He's going to play minutes at the 5. He should get 4 boards tonight. Listen, he should slip and fall into 4 boards tonight, if we're being honest. So that might be my favorite prop on the sheet. That and Maxey threes are my 2 favorites tonight, but we're hoping for a clean sweep and go 3-0 tonight. Those are our best bets for the Sixers Nuggets matchup.
Yes, sir. We went with a little less juice than recently. We've been on a cold streak, man. We gotta heat it back up. So I like the plays tonight. They're fairly safe, but still good money to be made there. Tobias, obviously, no Embiid. He's gonna play some 5, I would imagine. If they're smart, they'll play him a little bit of 5 tonight. But either way, he's got to help on the boards. I think when Harden's out of the game, you can kind of split their minutes tonight. He'll get some time to run the offense. Similar to what we saw without Harden out there, right? We saw the offense moving through Tobias a little bit more. And then Maxey, he's hit that 6 out of his last 7. The attempts are going to be there. PJ, like you said, man, he better grab 4 boards tonight. He got it last game, and that was with Embiid. So let's
100%, man. With all that being said, Scotty, it is decision time. Do the Sixers win tonight, or do they drop their 3rd straight on this West Coast trip?
Look, I think it's going to be close. I do. I think the Sixers are going to put up a great fight tonight, but I do think they lose their 3rd straight here. It pains me to say, and you best believe if Embiid was playing, I would be picking the Sixers to win this. But this took the wind out of my sail. It took the juice out of the drink. Like, it took everything out of everything. Like, there aren't enough analogies and metaphors I can use to exemplify what happened today. But I think it's going to be close. I have it 125 to 118. Like I said, pace should be turned up. 3-pointers should be getting taken at a full amount tonight. So I went 125 to 118. I think it plays out fairly close throughout the game. Nuggets pull away closer to the end. And then my player that I'm watching tonight, my X Factor player of the game-esque, I'm looking at James Harden, man. I know we talked about Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and the best bets. Reason we didn't put James Harden in the best bets, he is returning from injury. We just don't know.
Yeah,
but
I
am looking for him to do something tonight, honestly, because if you aren't injured, if you're playing, you're not injured, right?
I'm expecting you to be 100% if you're playing tonight.
Exactly. So I want to see what Harden's on. That's going to be my X factor to the game. Look, if Harden comes out and he's healthy tonight and he's able to play at the level that he's played at for most of this season, especially when Embiid's out,
game,
they have a very good chance of winning this game. It's just a big what if because they've mismanaged everything so far, right? To where I can't trust that he's out there at 100%. We'll see tonight, though.
I agree with you. I'm going to start with my X factor. I'm going to start with my standout star. If the Sixers were to be successful and win tonight, I'm going with Toby. I'm going with Tobias Harris. He's key for me tonight in terms of putting that lack of energy, lack of motivation on the defensive side center.
Yep.
And you can put him in multiple different bad situations. Tobias Harris could be a matchup nightmare tonight for Nikola Jokic. And to me, he has to step up. Like these are the moments he needs to step up for. Small ball 5, power forward, whatever the case may be. I need Tobias Harris out there to and hit that player combo, hit those points, and come and help the Sixers come with a W.
He absolutely cannot come out and lay an egg.
And shit the bed.
I don't mean 0 points, but I mean anything under like 15 points. He needs to be ridiculed properly after this.
Because if you think about it, without Joel, Tobias should get how many shots? 15?
Yeah. I mean, what did he take last game? Let me take a look here. Tobias Harris. 12 shots last game. He went 4 for 12, 3 for 6. With Joel. 12 shots. You should get 15 shots.
The Chicago game, I mean, Jesus Christ, it felt like he took 25 shots against Chicago.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
He should get the looks, right?
Yeah, he should get the looks.
Is my standout star if they want a chance to win tonight. However, I'm going to disagree with you on the last part of what you said about this game tonight. Either the Sixers win and they surprise us,
or it's a blowout,
or I think they get dogged. And I don't mean dogged for the full 48 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe they keep it close, 5-point game at halftime like it was with Phoenix. But I don't think they keep it close down to the wire in the fourth quarter if they are to lose this game. I think if they lose this game, they're losing by double digits. They could lose by 16, 15, 18, somewhere in that range. Or the others make shots. George Niang hits 4 threes. James Harden scores 27. I don't know. And they show up and they win this ball game tonight. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I'm going to go with the former. I'm going to go with that the Sixers lose this game tonight. They drop their third straight. I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't feel right, man. But wouldn't this be the most Sixers-esque thing to do is to win this game tonight?
Yeah, man. And honestly, I think that's, I never pick the Sixers to lose, like, out of my heart. Like, I pick the Sixers to lose when I want them to win, and I use it for them as motivation. Reverse psychology, right? So I'm thinking around those realms tonight. I'm hoping, I'm praying that they can pull one out tonight and impress the world. I'll be honest with you. I do, like, a back and forth with Zach Noble. And mind you, got to talk with Zach Noble today because he had some choice words. Even Drew Hanlon said something in response to his tweet today.
I did see that.
Which was interesting, but we talked it out. He's not going at Embiid for this. He's not really going to. It just kind of is what it is, but he will lose MVP in his opinion. But we do like a back and forth on game picks every day. So I actually switched to the Nuggets to cover today.
Listen, I have one last thing to say.
Yeah.
I understand that you can make the case if the Sixers were to win tonight, it does go against Joel's favor a little bit because it's like, oh, look at the supporting cast he has. They like how valuable is he, right? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Which is asinine. We know how valuable he is to this team. But, however, you cannot tell me that it hurts his case more than it would Nikola Jokic's case if the Sixers win. So you're going to tell me in the first matchup, Jokic gets punked by Joel. And in the second matchup on his home floor, primetime television, he loses to the Embiidless Sixers. To me, man, if they lose this game, there's no way his odds jump ahead of Joel's. They shouldn't if they lose. Now, if they dog the Sixers and he has 32, 13, and 11, well, I'm sure you're going to see the narrative change back to Jokic's MVP and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
I absolutely think if the Sixers can win tonight without Embiid, it kind of mutes today. It mutes the point, honestly, in the MVP conversation, not overall, but
or they keep it close like you
MVP
suggested, and he doesn't have that kind of game. He scores 22, 8, and 7. Not that that's not a hell of a stat line, I guess, but I don't think that's MVP-esque numbers against Dwayne Dedmon or Paul Reed, right?
The Nuggets are 31-6 at home this season. 31-6 at home. They've only lost 6 games in Denver, right, in that altitude. If the Sixers can pull this out, man, that's pretty incredible in their end, and then I would say that would look pretty bad on Jokic's end as well.
Yeah.
Especially because if the Sixers are able to win or stay close on this, it's because they're able to exploit Jokic and they use that mismatch on the defensive end, right? Like that has to be how the Sixers stay in this game. You just have to attack Jokic. If you're Maxey, if you're Harden, get those switches right. You're running him through pick and rolls, screens, make him get switched onto the ball handler. Get downhill and get him in foul trouble. These are some of the only ways that we're describing that the Sixers can win tonight, because you can't just go out here, throw Dwayne Dedmon on Jokic and then think you're going to win or even have a chance in this one. So
yeah, absolutely not. But guys, with that being said, that is going to wrap up this edition of DSM Pregame Live Sixers Nuggets preview. Don't forget to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Hit the link tree in our bio to take you to every social media platform we are available on. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications on the YouTube channel. Is the best place to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up on the screen with us and get interactive on each and every show, as well as the home for each and every one of our pregame shows. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM Media, have a great rest of your night and go Sixers.
Go Sixers.